One thing I was noticing about what people were showing me on their little Williams were they stuck the feet on, but then they weren't smoothed in all that well, and there was not a coil added. So that's going to be something that's really important. It's also really important to smooth them and make sure that they're smooth underneath, on the sides, because we are going to be painting on these. Make sure that you kind of tap it into place. We could always go in and shave off the back of it to make it how it's standing here. All right, so it's better to have a little bit more clay than not enough. One thing I went in and I did, and I'm gonna go in on the, I believe the one joint I did not do this on, yes, this one here, is I went in and I added a coil, and I'm really compressing it into the clay, and I did this after I smoothed my legs on. And I am then going to smooth it, going in. And when I go to smooth it onto the leg, I want it to look like it's overlapping a little bit, but I just want to smooth a little of it into the leg, but make it look natural. So I don't want to see a coil. And then I'm going to smooth that into the tummy part. And you can see it built up a little bit. But make sure it's all smooth, and you want it to look seamless. You don't want it to look like you have a coil there. You could see like how, you know, some of the feet are closer together. You could go in and really like look at the image, and I'm gonna start to just like kind of shave some of this off. And we're gonna work on sculpture next week as well. But you are gonna wanna look at a picture, because like I said, you want to do what you see, not what you think you see. So I have my general shapes on here, but going in and shaving this down a little bit is just gonna make it a little bit more, I guess, not realistic, because he's not realistic, more similar to the original sculpture. So I'm just shaving a little of this off. But you do still want to keep going in and like tapping it so that it's going to stand. You don't want it to be wibbly wobbly. And if you get any cracks, just add some small pieces of clay. But I think you could already tell how this foot right here is starting to go up a little bit. First, this one that goes straight across. Let me move this a little bit. So just work on the feet, work on smoothing, work on, you know, bulking up the belly a little bit. But make sure that any clay you add on is really compressed. So the main thing I wanted to go in today and show you guys is sculpting, but also how to create a neck. Now we're going to be using coils to start to create the neck on these. And then we're gonna go in and we're gonna really sculpt everything up next week before we add the head on. The head is a very like simplistic shape. It's really getting everything else sculpted and then adding that on last. It doesn't have all that much detail to it. So when we added the feet on, you guys kind of determined what you want to be the front and what you want to be the back. I'm definitely gonna go in and shape that foot down. What I'm gonna have you do is kind of start to pinch just a little bit in the direction of where the head is gonna go. So just a little bit, just to kind of like gradually bring this up. So I'm gonna have something that looks like that. Could see it a little closer that way. And now I have a little bit of a structure to build off of. So I'm gonna use coils, and you'll probably need like 2 or 3 to do this section, depending on the size coils you use. And put that aside. Just roll out a little coil. Now, if you guys have slip, that would be wonderful. If you don't have slip, because I don't have slip either. Actually, I was drying clay out. Let me go grab it. All right, that can't really be slip yet. That's okay. If you have slip, that's good. If not, that's okay as well. What I'm gonna do is I am going to kind of look at the picture, and I want to go right from where the body is, like about 3/4 of the way up, and start to coil out. So that's why I had you guys kind of pinch this up. And I'm just gonna go around that part, wrap the coil, just like you would with a coil pot. And we're gonna cut it off. So pinching it out, that gave you like a nice base to now start on. Now you don't have to smooth the inside of this, because we're not going to see it. If you just want to smooth the outside in, that is totally fine. Where it starts to connect to the back, it kind of goes just straight across. Almost like a little down as well. I'm just gonna smooth. And additionally too, with the neck, we're gonna sculpt it a little bit so we get those little wrinkles in the chin. So right now we're just getting all the basic shapes. And although, you know, the sculpture is just basic shapes essentially, we do want to go in and get some of the little details. So we're gonna finish up the construction of these next Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday we're going to do the underglaze. And this will be your very last project. I'm sad. I wish we could do all the projects. All right. So I got one on, and now I'm gonna add another one. Probably bring it out to about here. Because the head isn't really all that big. There's a lot of neck, and then it kind of turns slowly into, you know, the little snout mouth area. And I just want to add these going straight out. Like I said, if you want to slip and score them, that's fine. If you also want to, if you find this easier, start to smooth the coil in before cutting it and then cut it where you need to, you could do that as well. Because I know it's a little difficult adding coils on when it's not, you know, completely completely vertical. It's a little difficult doing them horizontally. Of course, when you lift it up, it will be easier. But just to get like the base on, and then you could flip it and just pinch some of it off. You can cut it, you could pinch it, and we'll attach it there. I'm just gonna smooth. You want to be as smooth as possible so that when we go in and add the details, you could see that they're purposeful and that you have a nice smooth surface for your paintings. And this is the project that we're gonna put the little gold decals on. So I'm very excited about that. And we'll look at different Egyptian lotus patterns on Thursday and Friday. You guys kind of pick what you want to do. Or if you want to just make a replica, that's fine as well. And you could manipulate this. You really just want to make sure that it goes straight. Now I'm gonna add one more, but I'm gonna have this one go up slightly, just a little bit. Rolling out my coil. All right, so I'm just gonna rest it ever so slightly up. And then smooth that in. This is just bringing it up a little bit so you could see the change in the neck before we then build the head. So just like how we would have a coil pot flaring out, we want this going outward a little bit. Not really like completely flaring out, just on the top. So on the top, I'm having it flare out. On the bottom, I'm gonna have it go straight. And you could see where that meets up. How that comes up a little bit. And then we're gonna build the head. So get this all smoothed up. Get a nice neck built up. Does anyone have any questions right now? So now I got something looking like this. I'm just gonna kind of shape it, bring it in a little bit, and then when I attach the head, it's gonna go right here. We may need to adjust it a little bit. Some of you might need to add a coil or subtract a coil depending on how it looks or how you shape the head. But I am going to go in and just start modeling this a little bit now. So I feel like I want to push this in a little bit more down the bottom here. And I have the picture right here on the side. kind of look at that a little bit as well. I'm gonna push the belly up. I feel like this leg I want to add a little bit more of a coil to, so I'm going to just add a little bit of extra clay in there. Kind of push it down because I want to bulk up the tummy there so the leg looks a little bit better, a little more close to the original. And sculpting is all about additive and subtractive techniques. Once you get the overall form, you then go in and adjust it and manipulate it. But make sure that all your coils, like I said, you know, they're not there. Make sure that they're disappeared. So I'm gonna go in with this, and I'm just gonna kind of shape up his legs a little bit more. And kind of round him in the back. Kind of smooth. Try not to rest it on its side. I'm just gonna rest it on its side so you know you guys can kind of see a little bit better what I'm doing. Maybe that's best. Just kind of rounding that off. And you know, you guys have a 3-day weekend. Sometimes I just like sculpting while I'm listening to music or watching TV. So that might be something, you know, that would be good, especially if you're just starting your project. It makes it not feel so much like, oh, I gotta get this done. It makes it more relaxing. So I'm just gonna kind of continue to sculpt. But I think you could already see the separation there a little bit more. I just keep sculpting now. You know, it might be a little different, so I might have to like tap it a little bit. I think I'm gonna build like the back up just a little bit on this one. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of clay, tap it in there, and then just smooth it on, just like you would with a coil. Because I think I put my legs a little too far back. Yeah, that's much better. And remember, you really want to have like some nice, you know, coils through under here and through the tummy so that the legs don't look like they're just like, you know, boop, slipped on. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of keep working on this.